Hey, don't forget, it ain't the first 48 with 60 minutes.
Cover the K, best not best. Even the score now, we need to score now. Back on that wall, when you hear that call, you know it's going down. We play from beginning to ending, you know how we finish. Turn to the bank, gotta handle our business. We need the ball, so it's time to go get it. Play with your heart when you hit, make it feel it. You know I'm with. You come to the bank and get out of line, we sending a blitz. Say who you with? You know I'm with. That purple and black, and when we attack, you know what it is.
You're now locked into Street Count Zone 32.
Oh shit, we back at it again.
No, we're going no intro in honor of Jake's death. So, Jake died in an unfortunate electrical accident today. So rest in peace, Jake. We're going to be selling rest in peace, Jake t-shirts, $50 each. Mine are Will's DMs, and we'll hook you up with some rest in peace, Jake merchandise. It kind of suck if he actually did die, and like this is the way that people figure it out. I don't know if that actually happened or not, but I'm
pretty sure he's probably just still asleep.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole new shift for him is fucking him up. So
night shift is a whole. Well, here's the thing. Night shift is a whole nother ball game.
Hockey's gay. We don't talk about that here.
Yeah, I mean we could talk about the Orioles, but we'll be very upset. You guys 10 games under 500 now?
Whatever.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Nobody could have seen that coming.
Real shame.
Nobody could have seen the Red Sox fighting with 500.
No, I mean everybody saw the Red Sox fighting with 500. The annoying thing about the Red Sox is they either pitch really well or they hit really well. They never do both at the same time, typically. They have, unlike the Orioles who have, like Dean Kramer trotting out every 5 days. Charlie Morton's 83 years old and, still pitching meaningful games for you guys. So
I wouldn't say meaning, but yeah.
Is Grayson Rodriguez's vagina healed yet, or is that still bothering him? Still got some sand in there?
Neosporin. Or
yeah.
The daily application.
Doesn't seem to be working out too well for him. And then, Eflin's not a real ace, according to Twitter. He's more of a 2 or 3 starter to people who started watching baseball.
Three or four is what I saw.
Interesting part about that is that 3 or 4 years ago is when that individual started watching baseball. So, just people firing off Orioles takes. So, didn't know baseball existed prior to 2021. So I don't really take their opinions too seriously.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so we buried bleed enough. The sexual predator is gone. Goodbye, Justin Tucker, you fucking dickhead. Fuck off our team.
Football decision.
That is, I was thinking that is probably the greatest orchestrated move of all time. You draft the kicker.
Oh, absolutely, it was.
You draft the kicker. You trot Harbaugh out there in front of the media and make him your sacrificial lamb, and have him say, we moved on because of a football decision and blah blah blah. And the next day, just bam, gone, football decision. Fucking great. We've been saying to cut him for months. And where I think we
went live the same day and said to do that.
Yeah, and where I
think pretty sure y'all did.
Well, because our argument was that he had sucked during the year, and then he's a fucking creep. So, on top of just fucking move on from him.
Yeah.
But what they did correctly was they built up the football decision narrative so that they're protected from grievances. Because again, if you're a big enough dickhead to sexually assault 16 massage therapists, you're probably going to fight for $2 million. Just seems like something he would do. So
I mean, I've seen this, and I mean the logic is perfectly normal, and I don't disagree with it, except that all his guaranteed money has been paid. So he could have been cut because they didn't like his fucking haircut. So it none of that really fucking matters. He could be cut. He's getting all the money he signed a contract for. So there's nothing for him to fight them for, and there's nothing for them to fight against. They could try and get money back because he violated the terms of his contract.
So what I'm not clear on is that his guaranteed money was low, fine, but could he have filed a grievance for his salary that even though it wasn't guaranteed? What would that have done to the salary?
I don't think so.
You can't. You have no grievance on non-guaranteed money. You have no grievance against that.
And what I also saw, they're posting the transaction as post June 31st. So
June 1st
or June 1st.
Yeah, but that's because if they cut him as of whatever it was 5/3 that the news came out. They wouldn't. Or it was Monday. So what was that?
So by doing that, they get to spread out his cap hit over this year and next year. So they're going to absorb some of that dead money next year, but obviously the cap goes up, so they're actually gaining a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but like
they're gaining more money
they're gaining
over.
they're gaining like $4.5 million of cap space.
Yeah, and it's like 4.2 or something like that, and then they eat like 2.1
Kind of a
million.
significant amount of money at this time of year.
I think
Yeah,
what is it,
that's
Brian, the
that?
salary cap guy, went into a big old detail about that.
$4.2 million right now could get you basically anybody on the free agent market.
Oh, absolutely.
Clowney, Von Miller, whatever
Yeah.
veteran corner you care about.
Right.
I'm sure there's going to be other guys cut between now and the start of training camp, because teams are
And
having their
yeah. Well,
so
right, and it's $4.2 million plus. Like they still have the lever to pull of a Lamar extension if they want to, which could create like infinity money basically against the cap at this time of year. If you wanted to sign someone, basically they can do anything they want right now. But getting $4.2 million of space this year is useful, especially at this time of year where someone's going to get hurt in the next 3 months, 4 months leading up to the season, and it could be someone. Like it could be someone with a big impact. So
Yeah,
you got to make a move. Maybe you got to make a trade where you got to accommodate some salary. All those things come into play.
As of right now, just going off this tweet from 3 days ago, we have cap space of 2.1 for Williams, 4.2 for Tucker, and 1.255 for Pierce's retirement. Each of those all being offsetted by 960 for the Rule of 51 replacement. So the net cap space received will be 4.675.
Okay, so that's that's meaningful space right now this time of year.
Yes.
I mean, that's meaningful space any time of year because you could realistically get a guy under $5 million fairly easily.
Well,
like
why I say it's meaningful this time of year is like you're gonna probably use that for more than one person, but it insulates you against injury in training camp and in the preseason time frame. So like having that wiggle room without having to pull the lever on Lamar, where Lamar's cap hit goes way up next year. Obviously, he's going to get extended, and they're going to work that out. But not having to do that sooner than later, I think, is good just for the team. Maybe not for Lamar. Maybe Lamar might want to do it right now, but we'll see.
I think Lamar is probably better served to wait a year.
You could argue it either way.
Yeah,
exactly.
But again, Lamar. This is not a knock on Lamar, but the not having an agent makes him somewhat of a pain in the ass to negotiate with too. So
yeah. Well, but the guy's going to get paid.
Rushed. Yeah, you're no longer rushed to get a deal with him.
He's going to get paid again, and he already got paid. And no matter what happens, if nothing happens, he's going to get. He's making great. Like the money he's making is not like a problem for anybody involved. The Ravens would like to extend him for a lot of different reasons.
And a good question from a buddy of mine, Sky Greenlee. Is that at the 4.65 after the rookie signings?
Yes, I think so.
I think the rule of 51, I think, is the rookie signings rule, if I'm not mistaken.
So I'm working off of functional cap space that Brian McFarland always tweets out, and that is accounting for all those rookie signings. So all the money to be allocated there.
Some of those rookie numbers can be different too. Like they can fuck with the signing bonus. And I know that fucks with how the cap spreads over the 4 years.
It doesn't change that much. It's
not going to be a significant change. So I mean, he's I've tried to do what he does, and it's I don't have the attention span to keep up with it, but he's usually pretty accurate. So
it took me 2 hours to work out an Isaiah Likely extension, and it wasn't the most simple extension, but it wasn't the most complicated one either. It took me 2 fucking hours. So the shit is if you're a relatively intelligent person, it kind of like bends your brain the way that they move the money around.
Well, that's the other thing is the contract you get reported to the public almost never matches the actual breakdown of the contract too. So it's all
having to account for every dollar was okay, this is a fucking pain in the ass. But
how he does it blows my mind.
It also lends to the theory that the salary cap is not real because there's so much shit you can do to the salary cap.
You didn't believe when I showed you the structure that I sent you. You didn't believe that it made sense, and then
no, it didn't really. it didn't really make sense if you just look at it on its own. But then when you do all the voids and the manipulation and put it into the actual cap, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You had like roster bonuses and money in like weird spots, but it all kind of works with how the Ravens cap looks. So
It's
Right.
very manipulative, but it's also a pain in the ass, essentially.
yeah, I mean, basically, you just have to have an owner who's willing to pay, significant out-of-pocket costs. And I feel like Steve is getting to that point of, being sick of not winning. I guess is the most simplest way to put it. There's been a very clear change in the way that the Ravens do things this offseason, I would say. In the past, I don't think we would have signed DeAndre Hopkins because of the extracurriculars he is allegedly involved with.
We've talked about it many times.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, Bill O'Brien made comments that would normally drive the old Ravens away from DeAndre Hopkins. You draft Mike Green, but then you get rid of Justin Tucker, and you're making it a football decision why you get rid of him. So they're clearly kind of throwing this choir boy shit out the window and looking to actually win. So I'm excited about that. At some point, you stop caring about somebody being a good person. Like, I'm not looking for role models on the football field. You know what I mean? I'm not 12 years old anymore. I'm not looking to idolize some fucking football player. I'm looking to watch a Super Bowl. So I really don't give too much of a shit about what people do off the field. Within reason, obviously. There's points to it.
what Tucker and Watson did, that was completely, wrong in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But
my whole thing with Tucker is that on top of being a fucking creep, he also cost us the 2 seed and potentially the 1 seed. So you can't be an asshole off the field and suck on the field. You got to pick a you got to pick a struggle.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And plus there's a difference between, being a fucking creep and just being a straight up, even though killing people.
Yeah,
rumors.
Well, no, DeAndre Hopkins didn't kill anybody. He was just, affiliated with some people who really enjoy the color red.
It was his choice of companionship.
Yeah.
No problem.
Again, you had the whole Lamar Kodak thing that the Ravens apparently told Kodak to go away.
I mean, very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had not control over Lamar, but they were kind of like, hey, get him the fuck out of our locker room. And he was under contract for them, so they can say that. You can't really say that to a guy coming in. But they've clearly moved on from caring about that kind of shit. So I'm good with it. And again, I'm happy Justin Tucker has gone on 2 fronts. I know it's not a popular take that, we got a weird contingent of fans who are like, oh, he's a legend and blah, blah. Again, he was fucking great for a lot of years, but
absolutely.
He made 70% of his kicks last year. That's horrific. That was the worst kicker in the NFL. The only people that were below him, field goal percentage wise, were guys that were getting cut every other week. And there's a reason that they were getting cut, is they fucking sucked. He legitimately cost us 3 games last. And then on top of that, you find out that he's a fucking closeted freak. I'm all set with that.
Right.
I want no part of either of those things on my team. And so, yeah, I'm good. You can get the fuck out of town, buddy. And all this shit about respect the legend. It's the same nonsense I get with Mark Andrews too, of oh, he's a Ravens legend. You can be a Ravens legend and your time can still come to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? We're stuck with Mark Andrews, clearly. I don't love it, but I can appreciate that he's been a great regular season tight end while pointing out that he's a fucking loser in the playoffs. Just like I can respect what Justin Tucker did on the field from 2012 to last year and still say, yeah, he's a fucking creep. I don't want him here.
I mean,
this guy right
Terrell Suggs
poured bleach on his wife, dragged her from a moving car.
I'm just saying Terrell Suggs is an amazing Raven performer. He's also 40 years old. Should we? Well, you know what? We should bring him back because he's an all-time great. Ray Lewis, right now. You know what? Bring him out of retirement. Let's put him back on the field because he's an all-time great. Who gives a fuck what someone has done over a period of time? What can they do for you now moving forward? That's all you care about with football players. Now,
and that's the argument that I have.
That's not a disrespectful thing to say about them, but when you're putting a team on the field, if it's a guy who has shown you, especially in Mark Andrews' case, dating back to being a young player, and now I wouldn't call him a young player anymore, but like, dude, you've always been this way in playoff games. So it's not a disrespectful thing to say. We've seen what you do in playoff games, and we don't want you to be in that situation ever again for our team.
It's disrespectful to people who watch the games to sit there and tell them that you have to, happily watch this guy play for your team while he sucks in the fucking playoffs.
Oh, he had 11 touchdowns last year. He has 0 touchdowns in the playoffs ever.
Yeah, it's true. Just like
and what was it? He just scored his first touchdown against the Steelers this last season.
Yeah, I mean, again, like
yeah, shit like that, dude. If you score touchdowns when honestly, like, and we can go back, we can pull tape. He has some very meaningful touchdowns in games that have been won.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But when you talk about games against the Steelers, games against, I honestly, I'm not going to say another team because I might say the wrong one and someone's going to pull fucking stats on me, whatever.
He dominates the Browns. He's okay against the Bengals. And those are the 3 teams that really matter.
And then you get to the playoffs and he's a fucking 0.
Yeah, he's a no-show every fucking year. And it's been like that since, fucking 2018, 2019. And, like, you can go back and make excuses, be like, oh, Greg Roman, and oh, this, and oh, coming off an injury, major car accident, like all this dumb shit, diabetes, whatever the fuck you want to use. But, like, I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? I just want to win.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about, this guy's a diabetic and, can't deal with the cold. Cool. Then go fucking play a different sport, pal. Go play for
Lamar is going into year 8, right?
Yeah, and his supporting cast has regularly let him down. And I'm out here being like, I don't want to fucking have him be let down.
Who's been on the supporting cast the entire time?
Mark Andrews. Yeah. He is we said it before. He is the last remaining vestige of the Greg Roman era. He represents everything wrong with the Greg Roman era.
Right.
Of this, doing great in the regular season and beating the shit out of, shitbag opponents and then not showing up when it fucking counts. He embodies that. That is Mark Andrews to a T. And anybody who's not willing to accept that or, fucking acknowledge that is a moron in my book. Like they're not worthy of having free speech.
I saw you respond. Nalda just made me laugh.
What is that?
Fuck Mark Andrews is faking diabetes.
I've never seen the medical, HIPAA violation maybe, but I've never seen the concrete proof that he has it. So. All
right, and we got a guest joining us, Dr. Oh, hold on. Never mind, he's not in here anymore.
He probably ran too far away. Yeah, I did.
Why? BT's like, oh, I got a hard out at 11 o'clock, so let's invite Dr. High Knees onto the fucking podcast.
Dude, listen, I like to make magic happen on the stream, and you are already proving me right. You're already mad about it. So that's
okay.
Just bad instinct.
We got
terrible guess.
What's up, boys?
Loser. What do you want?
Fucker.
Drew's mad.
Tom drinking fucking water. I can't see the screen because it's too far away. I'm sure he's like in his basement, taking weird shirtless selfies.
He's got a frame loose leaf behind him.
We don't have fucking basements in Texas, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry. I live in, a normal state, so I don't know what you guys have in Texas.
Home office, bro. Home office.
Drew's house is a witch burial ground, and he's like, I live in a normal place.
Yeah, you've got fucking Blair Witch Project going on in your backyard. And you're like, oh, I got some basements.
I live in a place with a long lineage of, when people get out of line, you kill them. That's how America used to be great, and then we fucking lost our way after a while. So, I mean, Massachusetts invented freedom. You guys wouldn't have the freedom to be on the podcast right now if it wasn't for Massachusetts. So, you're welcome.
Our resident masshole.
I don't remember where we were before we got derailed by, fucking COVID specialist Tom here.
Yeah, what are we chatting about?
We can talk about the vaccine.
We're on some like fuck Mark Andrews that he's faking.
Well, that was kind of a left turn we took.
Will was saying something about I tweeted something.
Basically, someone tweeted like, you can't get rid of Mark Andrews because of his like his franchise accomplishment, and you were like, yeah, great idea. We can't get rid of him because of what he did. I think this is what you said, right?
Possibly.
So it was something along those lines.
Oh, is this Nosey said, why are we extending Mark Andrews, or why are we extending Isaiah Likely and not Mark Andrews?
Yes, I think that's the one.
That's
Yeah.
good. That was the one.
Garnett West tweeted out next year's free agents and like rank them in terms of, must extend, would like to extend, and if you can extend them, great, and if not, no big deal. And I think he must have gone Likely as must extend, Kohler as would like to extend, and Mark Andrews as let walk. And his comment was something to the effect of like, why are we extending Isaiah Likely and not Mark Andrews? And after some back and forth, he was like, oh, what Mark Andrews does over the middle is like irreplaceable. And I'm like, Lamar's never lost a game without Mark Andrews. So, I mean, small sample size. I think it's like 9-0 or 8-0 or something like that. But he's clearly not that integral to the offense. I don't really understand where all this shit comes from. I understand, like, you look at his stats and they're like, oh, best tight end in Ravens history. He's probably up there in terms of receiving yards, too. I think he's the all-time franchise leader in touchdowns in the regular season. But it's the regular season, so who gives a fuck, Just
Shit matters once we get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if we want to extend him for the regular season, whatever, but keep his ass at home in January.
Well, that's the problem.
So, that's the tweet. You said, great idea, let's pay. Someone said, just make Mark Andrews tight end 2. And you said, great idea, let's pay our tight end 2 $17 million.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was I get a ton of stupid replies on Twitter. Obviously, I tend to ignore most of them because I just don't have the time or patience to deal with. Like, there's a level of stupid that I'll respond to. That was pretty high, so I had to let that guy know.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I mean, that's the problem.
It was a quote tweet. You said, yeah, let's have our TE2 on the books for $17 million. Great idea, buddy.
And then he responded. Then he responded with some fucking stupid, like, hey, have you ever heard of restructuring? Yeah, pal, I've heard of restructuring, but they're not fucking restructuring Mark Andrews. So
you can't restructure a contract in the last year of the contract unless you extend it first.
You can add void years to the end of it if you really wanted to, but why the fuck do we want to
No, you can't add void years when you're in the final year of a contract. The only way you're going to restructure that contract is if you extend it, so you add years to it. Then in that extension, you can add void years, and then you can spread shit out all as much as you want. But you can't just, when you get to the final year of a 5-year deal, you can't be like, oh yeah, I'm going to add a void 6 year. No, that's not real. You can't do that.
We now have a new class of stupid people on the internet. So you had the Madden people who are like, turn salary cap mode off, and I'm going to trade a 7th round pick for a 99 overall on another team and force accept. You now have the people who are like, oh, just void years, and void years solve all their fucking problems. And I think you can just add them anywhere and, create cap space out of fucking nothing. Like you said, like, there are some parameters. You do have to sign a new contract and shit like that. It's just, so many fucking stupid people on the internet. The same ones who are just constantly upset at anything that gets said negative about the Ravens. And he's like, again, so Tom said, like, extend Mark Andrews to be the regular season tight end and leave him home in January. Like, yeah, if he wants to make $3 million a year, and then all of a sudden when the playoffs roll around, like, he's no part of the offense, and it all goes through Isaiah Likely, I guess on paper that works, but the reality is, like, we're here to win playoff games, not win fucking regular season games.
Here's the thing about Andrews, too, is it's not like he's out there beating people one-on-one. Like, he's physically in decline. He's a smart football player as far as like finding soft spots, but they're going to scheme that shit open regardless. So
the Ravens have had good tight ends forever.
Right.
They coach it. It's not necessarily a player thing. But
Mark
Isaiah Likely to me is different than, like, Isaiah Likely is what Darren Waller would have been if he wasn't a junkie when he was here.
Right. Isaiah Likely is a guy who can win physical matchups and win one-on-one matchups. It's not like Andrews is out there every week making fucking highlight reel catches, right? He's usually wide fucking open over the middle, and he makes the catch, and then he trips over his feet and falls down.
When he has the opportunity to make a highlight catch, it's a highlight not catch.
Correct.
Drops the fucking ball.
Whatever you want to say, like, props to Mark Andrews, like, when he's open over the middle at a 1:00 game on a Sunday, he typically makes that catch, and he'll put up yards and he'll put up numbers. But
even makes it look more difficult than it should be.
That's what I was going to say. Just go back and watch some of them. He's diving, but he's really falling over.
Slides,
it looks like he's tripping over his own feet.
He's the shortstop who can make the play up the middle where he slides and makes a spin throw, but he can't make a play when the ball's hit right at him.
He's Derek Jeter. He
Yeah.
makes routine plays look a lot harder, so people think that he's good at catching the ball. The reality
That's a good analogy.
And like there is no discrediting like the amount of touchdown catches, the amount of catches, the contribution he's made, but like he's not a special player when you talk about like Tom said, one-on-one matchups. Like the reason people look at him the way they look at him is because of his compiled stats. Like, like again, he scored 11 touchdowns last year. Yeah, he sure did. But like, can you remember any of those touchdowns? Probably not, because none of them were remarkable. It's just like they happened, and he is smart, like Tom said. He just finds little soft spots, sits down, and he has great rapport with his quarterback, which is something that we've talked about with Rashad Bateman needs to work on. If he had that, I think he would be a 1,100 yard, 10 touchdown guy. But like Mark Andrews works on that rapport, he works on that relationship building, and because he knows from a skill set standpoint, he's limited. He's not a one-on-one. He's not like a Kelsey who runs great routes. He's not like a Gronk who wins matchups because of his size and speed at the same. Like he doesn't have like a combination of like elite skills. He has one good thing he does, and he has a really good relationship with the quarterback. So
had Hayden Hurst not been a senior citizen and injury prone, like I don't think there's any difference between Mark Andrews and Hayden Hurst. If Hayden Hurst had been healthy the entire start,
I think Hayden Hurst has a more dynamic skill set upside, but he also has like a mental limit on what he's able to accomplish.
I wasn't going to go after that, but that is part of his problem.
Well, it's true. Like and he would tell you the same thing.
Yeah, he wanted to die every time he woke up, so that's kind of a problem for playing football.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But in terms of like a guy who could catch the ball when he was open, like I think Charlie Kohler could do what Mark Andrews does.
I think Charlie Kohler's upside is higher than Mark Andrews' upside. It's just a matter of I don't know if he's going to get the same opportunity level, and I don't know if they're going to use him the same way because he is a really good blocker. So I think they're going to go they're going to use him in line first as a blocker.
I think Kohler is what they wanted Nick Boyle to be.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Kohler is a much more capable Nick Boyle, and Mark Andrews was a guy I think they saw when they drafted him as that guy, but he just turned into more of like a split tight end who is basically just catching passes. He can block, he's fine, but he's like not great at it. I don't know. Like I think he's one-dimensional personally. Like if you really want to label him.
Oh, you can ignore Patrick Ford 2.0 here. Fucking Drew weaponizes something. I don't know what he said.
Drew weaponizes you people. You're pawns in his large-scale game of life. Nice guy though. Vote for Drew. That's the isn't that the one for the crazy contest?
That's what they're doing the poll, right?
Here's the problem: is Pat Ford made the fatal mistake of putting me in any kind of bracket competition.
Right. Drew doesn't have to weaponize anybody. As soon as Drew's in any sort of a competition, I weaponize for Drew. He doesn't even ask me. I just do it.
I send the tweet to Will and say, "Do your magic," and then it gets done.
I'm pretty sure we all do that in the NPM.
Yeah, and people, I told them, I was like, "This is not going to end well for you," and then it just did. It was my finest moment. I can't read the rest.
It was my finest moment of thinking that's an honor.
Yeah, you definitely didn't spell it that way.
No, that's how we spell honor with a U in honor of the Canadian BA. Your favorite person, Will. One of Will's favorites. Will's also a big fan of Killer Kowalski, who's the Bengals fan who comes in here and says dumb shit every once in a while. But
where are those sexual harassers of Drew? Where are they?
I don't know. They went missing. I can't imagine what happened to them.
I support their mission.
Might be because I called out the person who I'm pretty sure it was, and then all of a sudden they disappeared. It's the same moron who told me I don't talk enough on the podcast. So I'm like, you don't even listen. You just come in to say gay sexual shit to me, and then move on with your life. And then all of a sudden it stopped. It's weird. It's weird how that transpired.
And that's not Drew being homophobic. It was very gay what the guy was saying.
Oh no, it was incredibly gay. Again, 2025, do what you want. I'm not really into that. It's not my scene.
What do you got to say about that, Tom?
Is this are we talking about the chef?
Yes, we're talking about the chef. The dead
Yeah,
deadbeat alcoholic. Yeah,
that guy's kind of weird.
Guy kind of sucks. And then there's the homeless retard, and then the loudmouth 48-year-old who thinks he's a general online. A lot of weird people who have come into my orbit recently. So they like to go on their little shows and Drew's the bad guy. Oh, he did it to me. I was like, yeah, no.
Kind of to yourself, but
Yeah, I mean, I could weaponize my whole following against them and kind of ruin their lives, but I'm not really interested in giving them any attention. That's all they want. So I take subtle shots here and there so they get upset because I don't say their name. Because that's the only reason they do it is they want attention. They're like, oh, people like Drew's tweet, so if I say dickheaded things to him, people will pay attention to my Twitter page, and they never do. It never works. I hate to break it to all you. A certain clan member tried that route with Will and I, and it didn't really work out in her favor. Just a lot of people have came at the king and missed. So or kings, I should say. It's kind of sad. Will and I sort of like run the internet. We've completely just demoralized many human beings. Tom being one of them.
I was waiting for you to throw something.
Not at all.
Tom is target number one.
The last time Tom came on here, he was doing high knees in the background.
No, I've been on since then. I was on.
He's been on at least one more time since then.
Yeah, I've been on once or twice since then.
Don't let the facts.
That was
get in the
one.
way of the story.
I think it was the 100th episode.
Oh yeah.
When we had a rotating cast of characters in here.
Uh,
Tom has this piece of loose leaf paper that's signed by.
Bernard Hopkins.
I was gonna say Roy Jones.
I keep saying Roy Jones.
Roy Jones.
Hopkins, same thing. Whatever.
I don't think Roy Jones can write his name on, so it makes sense.
Roy Jones is surprisingly coherent. I've actually got a photo with him too from a couple years ago.
There is no shot that he's coherent past like 9 o'clock at night.
It was actually late at night. He is coherent. You know who's not? I don't know if y'all are boxing fans. James Toney is not.
Oh yeah.
Very incredibly nice dude. You can't understand a fucking thing that he says.
Hasn't he had his jaw broken like 4 times?
I mean, he's
like
clearly
hardcore CD. Yeah, like
yeah,
George
that's what I
Foreman.
was gonna say. Yeah,
Like late in life George Foreman, but I'm pretty sure he's got some kind of mouth issue too.
Who's the boxer who flipped a Lamborghini a couple years?
I don't know who that is.
Thinking is it Adrian Broner?
I feel like that sounds right.
He does a lot of dumb shit, so I typically default to it being him. Ryan Garcia is another moron.
Yeah, I was gonna say Garcia and Broner.
No. This guy was a legit boxer.
No, those guys are both legit. They're just both
they're pretty legit. They're just
heavily punch drunk.
Errol Spence.
Oh, Spence.
You flipped a Lamborghini? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Manny
I thought
Pacquiao's
he was
coming out of retirement too.
Yeah, I just tweeted that. That's gonna go.
Yes? You're not making that up?
No,
it's just announced like 30 minutes ago.
Who is he fighting? Jake Paul?
No, some fucking 25-year-old kid who's got like 3 professional fights. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a horrible idea.
Pacquiao's gotta be
46.
Tom's age, right?
Yeah, 46.
I mean, he ruined his career when he just ducked Floyd Mayweather for that long, or they ducked each other. I don't really know who the fuck was, the one really pulling the strings there, but like he had to fight Floyd like 3 years earlier to have a chance to beat him, and that just he's been on a downward spiral since then.
Yeah, that's not going to go well at all.
No, I mean, people, like when you're that old, you just can't take punches anymore. Like that's really the problem is that he's gonna lose speed. So I mean, he was a volume guy anyway. Like he wasn't much of a playing defense. Like I think Floyd could fight now and be okay because he's not going to get hit. He might not land any hard punches that won't have the power, but like he's not going to get killed in the ring because he's still going to be able to move his head and play defense. Manny Pacquiao never played defense. He's just going to get killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Way too slow to fight anybody who has any kind of attack game.
Yeah, and the thing is, like scientifically, I think the first thing that goes is reflexes. So it's like, like you're just setting yourself up for.
Yeah, I mean, his game was always trading punches. Is that he'd let somebody else hit him, and then it was the combo that he would finish him off with. And like now, his reflexes are a tad slower. He can't move as quick. He's gonna die. He can't move his head. He's gonna fucking get wheeled out of the ring. It's not gonna be good.
And he's small too.
Yeah. And that's his only saving grace is that he's not fighting some, heavy puncher. So
no, but if he were to fight someone now in the same weight class, so like let's say Tank Davis would fucking kill him.
Oh, that'd be
30
annihilation.
seconds.
Yeah.
He would kill him.
Yeah, I mean I can't imagine that he'll ever fight somebody that good.
No, and Tank Davis is at least 15 years younger than him, if not more.
Yeah.
Probably 20.
Yeah, that's not gonna
No,
And
but
Tank
like
Davis loves knocking
that's the
people
weight
out.
class he fights in, and he could not hang with someone at this point. Someone who actually fights at that weight, it would kill him. It would be way too fast for him.
Yeah,
when I
I mean,
was when I was at the Boxing Hall of Fame, some idiot bellboy, like so Floyd pulls up in his entourage, you know, like 4 Escalades, bodyguards, some fucking moron bellboy. Like, first of all, you don't go and open Floyd's door. Like, he's got people to do that for him, you know? And this fucking moron opens the door and says, "Hi, sir, you're here for the Hall of Fame?" And Floyd
I
goes,
am the.
And Floyd said,
he's sitting,
"Give me that loose leaf. I'll sign that for you."
he's sitting in his Escalade eating chicken nuggets with, you know, a couple broads, and he just says, "Man, wouldn't be no fucking Hall of Fame without me," and just shuts the door on the guy.
I'm shocked that Floyd didn't hit him with like a payphone. I mean, that's his signature move. People that piss him off.
But anyways,
Women.
guys, I'm gonna take my leave for the night. Y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all possibly next time.
All right, BT. Have a good night.
RBT, see you, bro.
Now that I have Will and Tom here, do we get into Orioles talk? VD's favorite segment.
Yeah, I was going to ask if y'all.
Yeah, baseball time. That's pretty much why I invited Tom to come.
Yeah. So Tom guaranteed an Orioles World Series before the year, and it's just not going well. So I was
First of
wondering
all, that's false. Please provide context to that.
Did you say 2025 World Series guaranteed, or lock it in, or something like that?
Those words were used, I believe. But
So
what was going on with that?
That's a yes or a no.
Oh, because Benno was not going to any
yes
games.
Or a no.
Is that what it was? Benno was not going to any games.
Probably, but those words were said by you. Yes or no?
They were tweeted out of context.
Do you want to walk that back?
Out of context, you tweeted them.
Yeah, I mean, you tweeted them, not me. I didn't.
Like,
nobody was.
You're trying to say like Drew said it.
How about this? They were tweeted sarcastically. That's the correct.
Well, that's the great
I'm not
part.
sure
That's
you can change the tone of the tweet now.
That's the great part about the internet is that there is no tone attached to them, so I can interpret it.
I'm waiting for it to. I'm waiting for it to pop up on the screen.
Yeah. I bookmarked it.
I can make that happen.
Use,
I can do that. Hold on.
Just do you feel like you maybe caused the Orioles' downfall by doing it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I feel like Mike Elias caused that.
But would he have signed an ace pitcher or traded for one had you not looked at their current roster and said, "Yeah, this is a fucking World Series winner right here"?
No, he would not have.
Well, I mean, he didn't.
No.
He was like, "Oh, fucking Tom's on board. We're winning the World Series. I'm not going to go get an ace." I feel like that's exactly what happened.
This is, I mean, I tweeted this earlier. Like, Will, you're a little bit younger. I don't know if you remember it, but like when I first started watching baseball was when the O's lost 21 in a row, and this is more painful than that was as a fucking kid to me.
So Will is like,
I think the first, the first game I went to was the year after that, or maybe it was 1990. It was a Memorial Stadium game. Dennis Eckersley was the pitcher for the Oakland A's. So
great broadcast.
It was around that time.
Shout out, Eck. Phenomenal broadcaster, Red Sox legend, Dennis Eckersley. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you guys are going through it. I really hate after the last few years. I really hate to see you guys struggle.
I mean, it would be weird for you to just say something really, really early in the season that made no sense.
Hey, we're past the April 28th MVP Tyler O'Neill last year in Boston, and then he goes to a poverty franchise, doesn't know how to play. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you got at least he's stayed healthy for these through April. Yeah, I think he's back this weekend. That's the one guy that Elias gives multi years to, is a guy who's got the fucking. There it is. Yes.
I mean, so again, just to repeat, you said those words. The context doesn't matter. Those words were typed out and click send on your.
I mean, it could. In hindsight, it could be a jinx.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are what 2-20 when you're scoring under 3 runs.
Well, I mean, first of all, the big issue is that there are that many games where we're scoring under 3 runs.
I think that's since April 26th. It's an insanely small sample size.
I saw.
It really makes sense to me when I read it.
Yeah, the Red Sox are 0-9 in 1-run games or something wild like that. So when I look at their record, I'm like, all right, you're fighting 500, but if you stop being fucking morons and choking leads and shit like that, you'll be fine. Water will find its level there. You guys scoring under 3 runs in 22 games is fucking wild.
I think
Drew did try to take some issue earlier with someone saying that the AL East is mid. It is mid.
It's incredibly mid.
No. Hold on. I took issue with an Orioles fan saying that it's because you guys are Wyatts. You guys are losers. Stuck
No.
right at the bottom of the division. Yeah.
The second best team in the division is the Red Sox, and they're fucking 500.
I was gonna say, are they even 500? Are they one game under?
They're
One game over now? One game
Yeah,
over?
one game over.
Now they are, but when this was
Two wins
said,
in a
they
row.
were 500.
No.
And that would be like, and do you think that the Yankees are good? Because I don't.
No, they're not.
They're much better than the Orioles. So,
Well,
you know what?
okay.
You know what the
This is where I
difference
take issue with
is
it.
for the Yankees, though, and like, yes, it's an overpay.
If I said the if I said the Yankees were not good, you took issue with that. Okay, they're 5 games better than the Red Sox. They're not good though.
No,
yeah,
they're not.
I mean, we're talking in a vacuum here. Like, I think the Yankees fucking suck because they're the Yankees, and I'm programmed to just fucking hate them.
No,
but
I
the
mean,
reality
like,
is,
if you want to objectively look at them, I don't think they're very good.
If you want to objectively look at the Yankees' talent and the Red Sox talent and the Blue Jays' talent, and then compare that to the talent that you guys are trotting out there every day, like, there's a world of difference. I think
I think the Orioles' talent level is better than their record.
Their
but
offensive talent level is their pitching staff is fucking atrocious.
Oh, it's horrible. But
yeah, the pitching staff.
Everyone agreed with that. Everyone's agreed with that forever, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, like, to call the whole division mid while you're sitting at the bottom of it is like just a bad look for Civ. This is the same guy who said you guys had a top 5 pitcher too, or top 3 actually, and then fought me tooth and nail on that, and I, again nailed that.
I was gonna say, if you look at the Yankees. And I think, yes, we all agree it was an overpay, but Max Fried is 6-0 with like a 1.05. He's literally the reason they're above 500.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were in on Max Fried until the money got fucking wild for him.
Right.
And also,
right.
It is crazy money.
It's crazy money, but I mean, it's the cost of doing business, and again, right? It's it's the difference between the Yankees being 500 and being in first place.
I mean, the reality is, like, you either have to overpay years or money or prospects.
Because Elias does not want to. I mean, we're intentionally really not developing pitchers, right? You're drafting only position players. So if your plan is to acquire pitching, at some point you got to pay what the fucking market dictates.
I hate a lot of things about what the Red Sox have done with pitching in general in my lifetime. I mean, the reality is, like, it's John Lester, Jonathan Papelbon, and then I'm like arguing if Clay Buchholz was a legitimate major league pitcher to talk about guys who have been developed while I was alive. But one thing they are willing to do is go overpay with prospects or sign a David Price to a 7-year, $200 million contract, which is
you've got to do overpay.
Well, yeah, if you're not going to pay pitchers, you then have to give up your position players to go get them.
Yeah,
because you're not going to win with a middle of the road pitching staff.
Right.
But the problem with what the Yankees are doing, okay, they're getting great production out of Fried, but they spent money on this one guy, and obviously they spent money on Judge too, but that was just to retain him. But like that was
Bellinger.
Like, yeah, but that well, I don't know if they spent money on Bellinger. I wouldn't say they spent
I mean, they're paying. They traded for him, and they're paying a significant amount of his contract. The thing with the Yankees is that
they're investing in this spot, but like they're not really built to beat anybody. Really, like they'd have to get lucky, I think, to like they hot and lucky at the right time in order to win a World Series. Which is like, if you're the Yankees, just fucking spend the money and buy one, or like load it up like the Dodgers are doing.
Yeah, but I mean, even you look at them against the Dodgers, like they, their Cinderella run came to an end in the World Series last. Like they
would have to really go over the top with spending. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, you can't just you're getting in April and half of May, Max Fried's really good. Cool. I bet that doesn't bear out for a whole season. Like, I don't think it bears out to the contract they gave him. But then, in order to make that make sense and actually maybe contend for a World Series, they have to do what they did with Max Fried for like 6 more guys.
Well, what they used to do was, when they were overpaying guys, it was not anywhere near to the level they have to now. Like, other teams can spend with them now, and so they used to be able to buy guys.
That's why I'm saying they need to go above and beyond, and they're not doing that. Yep. They're actually scaled back from what they were doing when they were actually, like a true contender.
I mean, I don't know if you can ever spend to that level. Like the Dodgers are a weird, like they got that Japanese connection, and that's most of the money that they've spent. is on Sasaki, or not Sasaki, Yamamoto, and what's his name, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
Like,
but they did still land a ton of fucking free agents. And
right, but they're
kind of
not.
thing where
Nobody,
any other team would fucking jizz over that. But like it's
the
just
Yankees
like
don't have that opportunity.
any other day
I
for
guess
them.
is my point. Is I don't think the Yankees have Shohei Ohtani and then have like Yamamoto kicking down their door and Sasaki kicking down their door to come play for them. Like they're not the same team anymore.
15 or 20 years ago they did. So that like
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
a
Juan
mindset
Soto
issue.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah, they offered Juan Soto $700 million and he didn't want to play there anymore. That's really telling on the direction that they're going.
Yeah.
He would rather go play for the Mets.
100%. Right. And that's why the Yankees are overpaying for Max Fried, and they already have Aaron Judge, and they already way overspent on Mike Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton. I'm going with Mike forever.
Yeah,
Mike
one of the wildest name changes because he's from, where is he from, Venezuela or Dominican Republic? I don't remember, one of those Caribbean countries. And he was Mike Stanton, and then Giancarlo is a fucking Italian name. So, like, where did that come from?
Yeah. Right. Well, like, all right, man. I mean, do what you got to do, but who told you had to be Mike? No one told you had to be Mike. Yeah, and plus, I think you chose that yourself, man.
Once you hit like 30 home runs as Mike Stanton, you can't change your name after that.
I think he was just mad because there was already a Mike Stanton.
Yeah, it was a shitty relief pitcher.
It was a shitty relief. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Some white guy that looked like he fucking, like ran radar for the fucking state troopers, and
Red Sox legend Mike Stanton.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think once he figured out that there was an MLB player with the name Mike Stanton, and he was just like, he looked like a fucking off-duty cop. He was like, "Fuck this! I'm Giancarlo now."
Yeah,
he looks like Giancarlo. I mean, he looks like Giancarlo. That's a good name for him.
I'd say he looks more like a Juan, but that's just me.
Whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but he looks more like Giancarlo than Mike.
Well, yeah. I mean, nobody who looks like him looks like a Mike. Miguel. Right. I would go with Miguel probably.
Like,
Miguel would work.
Dude. Who told you could go by Mike? That doesn't fit you.
Yeah, it really does. And his mom is apparently like straight off the boat from. So like just a wild like, I don't know. Naming your kid Giancarlo just doesn't work with your lineage, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean the long and short here is the Orioles are fucked. I told you guys 3 years ago the Orioles were fucked.
They're actually, I was about to say, like, they're potentially on the verge of being incredibly fucked because I don't expect any of the young guys to sign extensions. I don't think we have any pitchers even fucking under contract next year.
Yeah, I mean you'll have. I bet you guys will sign Adam, which is the worst of.
That's the worst stuff.
Right.
I hope
the only way any of this isn't true is if Rubenstein tomorrow wakes up, or tomorrow meaning like soon, he just wakes up and is like, "Fuck these guys," and fires everyone.
Yeah, well, if you remember, Will and I, like you and I texted about this. I said I'm confident Rubenstein and Elias are going to clash eventually. I just don't know that it's this year.
Yeah, because Elias is like a scientific.
He's snake oil.
Like a scientific thinker, so he's got this like, we gotta wait for I see the vision. It's out here. Okay, Rubenstein is like, okay, I'm gonna give you this much time, and if what I need to happen doesn't happen inside of that time frame, you're gone. Because the guy comes from private equity, so like there's a horizon line where if you don't meet it, you're out, you're done.
But see, he comes from private equity, so he's looking at dollars and cents. He's got Mike Elias or Elias, or I don't fucking say his name. I don't care.
You can't even say the name of the fucking the Ravens owner properly.
Steve Biscotti. But see,
Shoddy.
Rubenstein looks at Elias and is like, he says don't spend money. He just put a ton of money into the team. Like he's breaking even now. He's recouping his investment. Like you guys are, 5 years off from him caring.
I think Rubenstein's fine with spending money. I think we are in a stage right now where, like, we've all probably worked with someone like this in a corporate setting. Elias is that guy that's good at bullshitting the boss for a while until it becomes apparent that he doesn't actually
what he does is like, okay, the way he goes about things worked out early for him because the bar was so low. Because he
basically and it's like, he went into a job and said, we're not going to get results for 5 years.
He was able to move the bar himself. So it's like he's setting his own expectations, and then eventually the expectations outgrew him, and now he can't keep up with the expectations anymore.
Yeah.
When Dan Duquette was the Red Sox GM, he went and got Manny and he went and got Pedro. But other than that, he totally fucked the franchise. You know what I mean? He did exactly what he did to you guys. And then Theo Epstein came in and was like actually smart and had a different way of looking at things from how the old ownership group did. He had the new ownership group with him who kind of empowered him to go get Kurt Schilling and, change Derek Lowe from a reliever to a starter. And, he picked up like the Kevin Millars and the Bill Millers of the world. And it worked because he was like a smart baseball mind. And he wasn't going to go out there and overspend, but he knew the kind of players to target to, make the team better. Elias doesn't have that sense. You know what I mean? He is purely like a Billy Bean Moneyball kind of guy. And Moneyball doesn't fucking work unless you have an elite pitching.
Every move that he makes, is like he's got some like it's not just numbers on a page. It's like, okay, the numbers, and I got a feeling about this guy. And like, okay, your feeling worked out great when it was like you're replacing fucking Rubnet Odor. Like that's pretty fucking easy to do, dude. Even though Tom jerked off to that guy.
But when you're trying to replace, Anthony Santander, and your idea is like, oh, this Tyler O'Neill guy's jacked.
Tyler O'Neill is arguably a 1-for-1 replacement for Santander so far this year. That Santander sucks.
Yeah, Santander is
when you're talking about what he's doing in Toronto right now.
Yeah, he's a slow starter.
Yeah,
that won't be the case later.
Yeah, for his Orioles career, he was far better than your.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I'm saying if you want to talk about since that decision was made, that's one I would just say like ignore it because it's kind of a net neutral. I don't think there's no winner there. Nothing. I mean, I guess
it's more about not being able to identify talent.
Well, and like also it pissed a lot of people off. I don't know. If it pissed fans off, it probably pissed off players too.
Right, and like it's the same reason why Corbin Burns didn't want to come back. Is he hates your manager and he thinks your fucking GM is a clown. You know what I mean? So like he was never coming back because of how he runs it.
And the thing is, right, Elias is so his thinking is so risk adverse, right, that he doesn't want to do long-term deals, but it's like he'd rather, throw $15 million at fucking Charlie Morton just because there's no long-term commitment, but it doesn't fucking make any sense. It's like I'd rather have 2 extra years of Corbin Burns potentially sucking at the end of his contract than the shit that we've
I just want to make a comment right now. Lamar Translator is watching this, and I know it's because Tom's on, because Lamar Translator worships Tom.
Biggest fucking Tom fan.
That's because his girl was watching the podcast. He had to hop on.
We've told him many times that
Tom does really well with Asians.
Tom is not a role model, but for whatever reason, Lamar Translator won't listen to us. So, I mean, the Red Sox went through the same shit that you guys did with starters. They signed like James Paxton to a 2-year deal, Giolito. They'd sign all these fucking injured guys, and then
I didn't even hate in a vacuum if they wanted to sign Charlie Morton, as back end depth, like that's fine. But Elias is, I mean, the whole strategy this year seemed to be kind of hope and pray, right? Like hope and pray that Grayson is healthy, hope that Dean Kramer is,
healthy and consistent. He's never really done that for me either.
Right, he's never been either. Hope that Dean Kramer is somehow better than what he's been for 4 years, which he is what he is, It's like so much of his offseason strategy was just based on hoping that shit goes right and not being at all prepared when it doesn't.
Yeah, and that's just always a horrible approach.
Yeah, is like and that's the thing. Elias needs to, if you want to go fucking, build whatever he built in the Dominican Republic and develop players and great, like maybe he's good at that shit. He's fucking awful at putting together an actual major league roster.
Yeah, I mean, he is your Heim Bloom. I sent many horrible messages about Heim Bloom to Will. Like, I hated that because he was the same thing of like, I'm not going to pay for the premium talent. I'm going to pay less for a guy that might turn into premium talent. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's
you can look at Charlie Morton and think like he's going to have a resurgence year, and so that $15 million is going to look like a fucking bargain. But the odds of that actually working out are low. He's 41 years old, or you signed that fucking Japanese guy who's never pitched in the major leagues before, And
I mean,
he's been okay.
fine. Yeah,
but-
he's been fine.
Yeah, he's a number 3 or 4 starter, but you don't have a number 2.
Again, though, even he's only here for a year, right? So if he continues to pitch to a 3 ERA, he's probably gone.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that Eflin has not had a game where he's given up 3 earned runs or more than 3 earned runs since the 2023 season.
Yeah, but he's a 3 or 4 starter, so
he is. But also, if you look at Eflin,
that's an unbelievable stretch of pitching.
I mean, we can talk about how you guys gave up, the Jeff Kent Barry Bonds duo for a guy who's given up 8 earned runs in AAA.
We can get to that later, but
that's Will's
the thing is, if you look at Eflin, I think him, and even when you look at Burns, like a lot of the pitchers that are having success with the Orioles are guys that came from other places, and in the case of Eflin, I mean, he's a pitch to contact, doesn't walk guys. All the guys the Orioles develop throw a fuck ton of pitches. They have shitty control. They try to pitch up in the zone and they get hammered. Yet they refuse to change the way they develop pitchers.
Yeah, and I don't know what part of that is just I don't know, you drafted some cocky idiot who doesn't know, when he's going to get his ass kicked, and how much of it is guys don't have faith in your program, which I don't blame them either. You guys were terrible for years, so why would you listen to those minor league guys? And again, like we've hammered here, your GM is a fucking moron. Doesn't support them at the major league level. The fact that Brandon Hyde still has a job is fucking wild.
Is fucking insane. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I hope they've lost 5 in a row. I figure maybe if they get to 10 in a row that he's gone, and I just hope that happens. So we can
what has to happen. That's what has to happen.
I think that's. I mean, what else? I mean, the team has not hit for now 120 games.
I mean, there's a lot of overlap between Ravens and Orioles fans, and I watch people, the fire Harbaugh people, and I'm like, how do you want him fired, but you haven't said a word about Brandon Hyde still being
see, and there are, you're right, there are morons that compare the two too much.
Yeah,
I've been on the fire Harbaugh train at times, but it's a different situation. That's more because those times I think Harbaugh had gotten stale. You
want to fire Harbaugh for 1 game a year, what he does wrong. You want to fire Brandon Hyde for what he does wrong 160.
I want to fire Brandon Hyde for every single decision that he makes.
Yeah.
Whether
very, very different.
Whether it be lineups, bullpen, whatever. Harbaugh it's a different case because I think with him it's just sometimes, you've seen who he is and maybe you're worried that he gets stale. I mean, Brandon Hyde's just always been over his head. He got lucky because the team overperformed.
Yeah, they got lucky that the Red Sox sucked and the Yankees didn't have their shit together, and they reeled off a bunch of wins that weren't really anything to do with Brandon Hyde. I mean, it first reported by Trippy, but Will also compared EDC to Michael Elias at one point and was like, "This is great for the city of Baltimore. They're going to be best friends," and that just didn't work out either. People like to draw.
Are you ignoring our loyal listeners' question, or
did we talk about the Celtics yet? I'm excited to hear Beast's take on the historical choking. How do I word this so we don't get kicked off of you? I have several tweets of you talking about stalking small children to schools. I would suggest you don't talk about the Celtics anymore, or those might be posted publicly. Is that good enough? Is that fair? Did I handle that diligently enough? I mean, the first 2 games for Celtics fucking suck. You can't blow 2 20-point leads, but also, I mean, I'm a better 3-point shooter than that. I'm fairly positive if you gave me that many open looks in an NBA game, I'd make more than 25 of them.
I think Will and I's interest in the NBA left as soon as the Lakers and the Mavericks were done, just because we wanted to keep running
that really worked out well for you guys. Yeah, Lakers looked real fucking good.
They made it further than that Mavericks.
Yeah, they made it.
They really didn't because neither of them won a playoff game or a playoff series. So they're too.
They made it further. The fucking Mavericks didn't make it into the actual playoffs. They were in the play-in tournament.
Yeah, and the Lakers got beat in round 1.
That doesn't make any difference. The Lakers didn't have to play in the play-in tournament because they made it further.
That's great for them, but what do they have to show for it?
Because no, not great for them. It's you said they would not, that the Mavs would go further than the Lakers. They didn't.
I don't think I said that.
You absolutely said that.
I'm fairly positive Tom said the Lakers were going to win a championship.
No.
No. This was unsolicited. You said it.
No,
What I said that did
I-
happen is I said AD would be injured by April, and he fucking got injured in his first fucking game.
What I remember is Tom said that, give the Lakers the banner. They're the greatest team of all time. I love Luka. Dallas legend, blah, 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 a whole bunch of dumb shit. And it didn't work out. That's what I remember. Again, maybe we have different interpretations.
I'm not sure a single statement that you just said was even rooted in anything.
I said it out loud first, so that means I'm right. That's how the internet works. I just know you two were all over the Lakers, and Luka's this great trade. He has the Kyrie Irving stink on him still, and now he's got the LeBron stink on him, so he's fucked. And he's going to be in LA for a whole offseason, so he's going to put on like 150 pounds. When they showed the video of some Dallas guy like taking a beer out of his hand at the end of last year, I was like, yeah, this guy's going to be a problem in LA. What is this moron saying now?
What's he saying?
It's crazy Celtics. I don't. Crazy all Celtics fans I know are built exactly like you. White? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of white people in Massachusetts. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. I'm pretty sure Lamar Translator knows Kip Smithers, and he's about a foot and a half shorter than me.
Is Kip from Boston?
Yeah, sure.
I didn't know that.
Boston area.
Okay.
There's a famous movie about where Kip grew up. So stars Ben Affleck, and they do a lot of crimes. So we can go from there on that.
Thank you very much, Rave Kingdom. But we're gonna move on to Lamar Translator. No comment. I think that is in reference to your accusations of stalking children.
Yeah, your playground accusations.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he said it, not me. Again, nobody had a gun to his head and told him to tweet that. Just for some reason, thought that was a great thing to put out in the world. I'm not sure why. Guy's a little bit, little 5-year-old girls walk up to me and ask me for a ride. Like, yeah, okay, well, when you write free puppies on the outside of your white van with no windows, like that's gonna happen. Lamar Translator. Just don't act shocked. Like I'm sure that's why he did it. Maybe free candy. I don't know what he did. Maybe it's an ice cream truck. I'm not sure what he did to his car. Massachusetts something. I don't know. I can't read any of the comments because it says send referral link over it. And I'm pretty sure that's what spams the chat with all those things.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't see that on my end.
Well, I mean, I'm on a phone because God forbid I use like an actual.
Oh, I do actually. I see it at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, it blocks all.
So hold on, wait a minute. You're telling me you're the reason that shit popped up last time?
Probably. I mean, again, I just
fucking bitch.
Buttons. I set up this stream all by myself. It was a real, feat of.
You definitely did that. God damn it! Now okay. Now I see what's going on here.
Should I do it again?
Sure, go for it. Yep, there it is. Yeah, you did it. You fucking bitch.
Everybody use the referral link. We'll get like a nickel every time you click on it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 cents.
All right. Well, Jake's not here to die, so I don't know what the fuck we do to end this.
Tom, if you want to die, we'd be all willing to
play your piano.
Witness that.
In the other room, man. Not close enough to it.
Play us out, saxophone man.
Zone 32.